shore we reclaim the land. Grit and glory in every strand. In Jersey Shore we make our stand.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jack Brangan, and you have arrived here at the Jersey Shore. I am not Damon Galdo. Damon is out politicking tonight. We are in South Jersey. So Damon is, I think he's over in Burlington at a Christmas party. And Damon may have an announcement concerning his political future. I'm not going to get in front of him. He can make that announcement when he's ready. But we have a lot to talk about tonight. We have some guests coming on. At first, we'll take a look at what's going on in the news. Everybody, first of all, even before we get to the news, it is what? It is December 22nd. And I hope everyone has their Christmas shopping well underway. So I know if it wasn't for my wife, I would probably just be starting, but she's good enough to get things going. And I think we're going to make it, we'll get everything wrapped. It's going to be sort of like sliding into home plate. We'll just get in under the glove and, at the very last minute, we're always packing and, or I should say wrapping, into the last minute. So, but in the news today, we got some crazy stuff going on. We know Tim Walz. This is a bad man here out in Minnesota. He's in with some bad characters with the Somali thieves. He's probably at the top of the list as far as dominating the news. This is one guy I would love to see in a perp walk in the orange jumpsuit, and that would just be a beautiful thing. Trump tonight also announced what we'll call military muscle. This is a new fleet of navies, and I'm not of Navy ships and carriers. And I thought I saw somewhere they're going to call it a Trump class of carriers. So that I'm not surprised about that. Before he gets out of office, everything's going to be called Trump something or other, including the Trump Kennedy Center. Now, frankly, I think his name should be on there because that Kennedy Center was really falling apart. It was turning into a junk heap, just like all the Democrat states. This is a junk heap here at the Kennedy Center, and he redid the whole thing. This is just going to be like his ballroom. It's going to be a beautiful venue. It is now. Let's see. There was also a report of a pilot reporting a UFO standing still right next to his craft. That should be sit you up in your bed wondering what in the world that is. And then, of course, tonight, the jackpot of the Powerball lottery is at $1.8 million. I wish you all the luck in the world, but I think your chances are 1 in 296 million. But somebody has to win. So I hope, I did not get a ticket, so I am not going to be winning. I'm sort of hoping nobody wins, so I'll have a chance to go to my local Wawa here and get a ticket. But so the drawing is tonight. It may actually be completed by now. But the big thing that's been going on weekly are these drug boats that have been getting blown up. Now, I think this is great what Trump is doing. He so many things, everything he does so far hasn't been perfect, but a lot of things have been really great. This war on drugs has really been not a war at all. It's really been a discussion. If it was a war, it was fought with feathers and marshmallows. There was nothing very kinetic about it. And in the process, we have lost hundreds of thousands of young people. And a few of us know Ann Funder, who's local to South Jersey, who lost her son, 15-year-old son, to fentanyl. He took a pill, not a drug pill or anything, but whatever he took, it was laced with fentanyl, and we lost a beautiful young man. And thank God, it's about time Trump is taking some actions. Now, some people are questioning what in the world, what is the law that he's working under. I am not a lawyer, but I did look it up. We've got two kinetic actions going here. One is the striking of the drug boats. These are the fishing boats that are filled up with fentanyl. The administration justifies these strikes by classifying major drug cartels as non-state armed groups and arguing that their mass trafficking of fentanyl and other drugs constitute an armed attack on the United States. He is defending the homeland by framing the drug trade as a form of warfare rather than just a crime. The president claims the right to use military force, self-defense, to neutralize these vessels. That sounds good to me. I think he's hit the nail right on the head. Now, the other one, Damon, why don't we bring up the, one video we have, I think.
And right now, as we come on the air, the U.S. is reportedly in pursuit of yet another oil tanker linked to Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro. This comes after Homeland Security released more heart-pounding video you're watching here of U.S. personnel conducting operations. We are following the very latest off the coast of Venezuela this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown, in for Jan Jeffcoat. It's Monday, December 22nd. And right now, U.S. troops and federal agents could be closing in on another oil tanker the White House says is fueling Maduro's narco-terror regime. We want to get right over to Mark Boyle at the live desk with the latest. And Mark, the pressure is really on Venezuela at this point.
And that continues this morning, Angela. The United States is turning up the heat on Venezuela, and that continued over the weekend. In less than a month, the United States has seized 2 oil tankers belonging to Venezuela. And this morning, the U.S. Coast Guard is tracking a 3rd oil tanker that's been carrying Venezuelan oil while in disguise. Take a look at this video. This is from over the weekend. U.S. military and the Coast Guard carried out this joint operation, taking over this oil tanker right here. This was the last docked location in Venezuela, and the seizure is similar to the one we told you about earlier this month when the U.S. military seized a different oil tanker with ties to Iran.
They are heart-pounding videos. Our military is just astounding. Thank God he's doing that. Now, under what law, what justification is there? This is a different sort of kinetic action under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The president can declare a national emergency and block the assets of foreign entities. When a tanker is linked to a group the U.S. has labeled as a terrorist organization, like Iran, the Department of Justice can get a warrant from a federal judge to seize the ship. So every one of these actions has a warrant from a judge. Essentially, the U.S. treats the oil as proceeds of a crime or terrorism linked to property, allowing them to legally take over the vessel, even in international waters. Now, I've heard people say there were pirates and things along those lines, but this is it. If they are linked, they're seizing the property. They do this with criminals all the time. They're seizing the property of their linked to a terrorist organization, and they have a warrant from a judge. That is a key element, I think, here of the legal aspect. And quite frankly, it is a key element of our ICE agents when they go out to pick up criminals. They are not just picking up people off the street, despite what they say in the news. These are very targeted, and this is not ICE making the decision. Every single person that ICE goes after, they have a warrant signed by a judge. So it is not just Tom Holman. It's the judicial that has put the legal backbone behind all of their actions. And in addition to that, from immigration, they also have the paperwork for deportation. So, guys, this is not being done in a vacuum, or this is not King Trump. This is all done very legally. So that's the headlines today. What I would like to do in the show, and we'll be bringing on some folks here in a few minutes, I would like to go back a month and a half to November 4th here in New Jersey. This is where we had our gubernatorial election between Mikey Sherrill and Jack Ciattarelli. And this election is sort of, I don't know, it's sort of like a bad hangover. It's just been going on and on and on. It won't end because there's some things that just don't sit right. It really smells a lot like the Biden 2020 election, because here we had a Democratic candidate who amassed some astounding numbers on paper, at least in the ballot box. But whenever she went to an event, no one showed up. So somehow this doesn't match. The election, Mikey Sherrill won the election. She ended up with 1.8 million votes, and Jack Ciattarelli ended up with 1.4 million votes. Now, the interesting thing about Jack is that, they say he wasn't the perfect candidate, but in my opinion, he was a darn good one. He had ideas. He had a plan for every issue. He had a clear vision of what the issues are in New Jersey. And he had a clear vision on how to fix them, which is head and shoulders over Mikey Sherrill. But with his 1.4 million votes, now he amassed more votes than any other Republican back to 1973. So yeah, he wasn't the perfect one, but he got more votes than any other Republican gubernatorial candidate in any of the elections going back to 1973. His 1.4 million is more than any other Democratic candidate, including Phil Murphy, all the way back to 1977. All right, so he was a pretty good candidate, and he got a lot of votes, except for this election. And in this election, quite surprisingly, over 700,000 new voters appeared on the voter rolls, or I should say, came out to vote. 700,000. Now, when you go year on year for each of the gubernatorial elections, if we go back to 1973, so the last gubernatorial election before this was Murphy. That was in 2021. There was another one back in 2017. As I mentioned, Mikey Sherrill, there was over 700,000 new voters that voted here in this election. Now, if you take a look at what was the change in the total, in other words, if you take Jack's total and you take Mikey Sherrill's total, the grand total number of votes is 3.3 million. If you add all the votes up, 3.3 million. That's 700,000 more than the previous one with Phil Murphy. That election with Ciattarelli and Murphy only got 2.5 million if you add total votes. So the total universe of for Mikey Sherrill and Jack was 700,000 more than the previous one. And if you look at the delta or the change, if you add up all the votes that were cast in all the elections back to 1978, and then you walk year to year, what's the change in the total? They all hovered around year on year about 200,000 more. Each gubernatorial election got about 200,000. As you walk through, some had less than the year before. But 200,000 was I'll call it the bogey. That was the average. Now, there was an election where it was up to 300,000. There was an election where it was 200,000 less than the prior year. But generally, it's around 200,000. What does Mikey Sherrill get? She gets 700,000 more voters in this election, of which she got about 500,000 of those. So this is astounding to me. This is a big jump. And before I bring our guests in, because we do want to take a look backwards or look at some of these numbers. I took all the totals that, by the way, these totals came courtesy of Scott Morrison of Cherry Hill, New Jersey. So thank you, Scott. I did turn it over to ChatGPT and say, what do you think of all these numbers? Especially this year, if you take the total number of voters for this, there were 700,000 more. ChatGPT says, well, that's a record surge in turnout, 700,000 more. This is a record. It's the largest swing in 15 years. The 719,000, which is what it was, dwarfs all the previous changes in the years prior to that. The 2025 New Jersey governor's race wasn't just a win for Cheryl, it was a watershed in voter participation. Now, this is a woman who couldn't draw 50 people. She came to South Jersey and she went into one of the largest diners in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. She walked in like she was just somebody showing up for bacon and eggs and toast. There was no turnout, there was no crowd, there was no press, it was just her and her aides. This 719,000 delta marks a historic expansion in the electorate. I'll bet, where did this expansion come from? That's what I want to know. Because this expansion represents the end of the Republican Party if we don't find out who these people are. Because a lot of these could be from Ecuador, from Mexico, from who knows where, that came out of nowhere and suddenly are on the voter rolls. So let me just give you one other thing, and then we'll bring in my buddies here that are coming on. Where did these votes come from? Again, I went to chat. I said, okay, we got 700,000 new voters. Give me the top towns where there was, where did these 700,000 come from? Number one, by far, almost 100,000 of these, Newark, New Jersey. Now, did Mikey Sherrill have any sway in the inner cities, in Newark or in Camden, Jersey City? I would say not. I'm sure she went there, but I don't think her following was very strong. So the greatest number of new voters came from Newark. After that, it was Jersey City. After that, it was East Orange. I also asked Chat, what towns have the greatest number of illegal aliens that are known? And quite surprisingly, it matches the same thing. Newark had the greatest number of the 719,000. It also has the greatest number of illegal aliens in Newark, in the entire state. Jersey City was second with almost 35,000 new voters. Jersey City has a huge number of illegal aliens. The third one was East Orange. The East Orange is the third highest in illegal aliens. So my point is this doesn't condemn the election, but I'm telling you, there are red flags going up all over the place here. I don't think we can let this election stand until these red flags are resolved. There's too many loose ends. This is a woman that could hardly put two sentences together. And as far as a position, I don't think she had any positions on anything. Yet this is a watershed election, and she brought in 719,000 more voters, and could not get 719 at a rally, nowhere close to it. So let's bring in our next guest here. I think we have Peter on the line. So,
hey, what's going on, everybody?
Yeah, Peter, how are you? And Constance?
Hi, all. How are you?
Hi, Constance.
I haven't seen you in a while, Pete.
I know. I've been hiding.
Okay, Constance. Okay, Constance is breaking up. Can you hear me, Constance?
Can you hear me now?
You are frozen. You are frozen in time. Are you on your Wi-Fi or your phone?
Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. So, Peter, what do you think? Do I have a case here? I'm not presenting this as a total condemnation. but you know, if she brought in 719,000, of which she got 500,000, and she showed up down here in Camden County and drew 25,000 people or even 10,000 people, I can see it. If she had some of the greatest ideas in the world, I can see it. But none of this matches up to me. This is all out of sync. And I'm certain that people that know even more about voter registration and that sort of thing probably could give 4 or 5 other examples that don't match up here. There's no excuse for it.
You're exactly right, Jack. I mean, and we also saw with the voter integrity group, right? They found 30,000 or something potential, fraudulent mail-ins or whatever, right? That had at least been questionable. I mean, it's a big problem that we have here. And to be perfectly honest, I know that you went into the whole, Venezuela boats and all this stuff going on. I'd much rather be investigating what the hell just happened to this last election.
Absolutely.
I mean, New Jersey, Virginia, New York. I mean, Republicans across the board got cooked, and I don't know, man. We had all the momentum going in, and I'm not trying to be the one over here crying or whatever about it, but something just doesn't feel right.
That's right. Again, did she ever have a solution, to the fact that New Jersey has the highest tax rate in the country?
Well, she knows how to fly a helicopter.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, that's kind of where I took from that. But yeah, I mean, as far as anything, I mean, it was like Kamala Harris, right? Is they all come up, they say the same things, a lot of words, don't really mean anything. And she was on Charlemagne the God, and he was pressuring her about getting all this money in stocks, $7 million. Did you get that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I did.
We actually have that video, but that we'll show here in a minute. But that's a good point. Not only did she not draw crowds, not only are these numbers out of sync with her candidacy, but from an individual ethical standpoint, she was not a good candidate. I mean, she came in with this baggage, with this cheating, which is the worst. Cheating in school. Now, maybe she did not personally cheat. I don't know, but I think her husband did, and I think that's what I read anyhow. That the husband actually was one of the ones accused of cheating, and
he's probably cheating off of her.
It could be, but that's a good reason why she didn't turn anybody in, because one of the people would have to be her husband. So she's not going to do that. So, so there's that. And then how did she go from, I don't know, a couple $100,000 per year to 13 million?
They all seem to.
Yeah, this is poor ethics in this woman, poor moral compass. She's made bad decisions. The other thing is, a lot of us, went through a lot of pain and suffering, putting our kids through college, paying the tuitions. And I'd be a wealthy man today if I did not have, 3 college tuitions to pay for. She went to the academy. It was a naval academy, I think, or Air Force.
Naval, I think. Yeah.
Naval Academy, that tuition is picked up by the taxpayer. So her parents got a free ride. I'm feeling a little gypped here, considering.
Aren't we all, buddy?
Yeah.
Aren't we all? If you want to do anything nowadays, you got to get elected to government, Congress, or something just to be able to make some money. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All the taxpayers are getting starved out, but these people, they seem to have extra money in their pockets all the time.
Yeah. So, Constance, what are your thoughts about Mikey? I can hear you, but you're definitely, your video is cutting. Actually, I think if you turn the video off, your sound probably would come through clear. That's what I'm thinking. It's too bad.
I'm not sure I can do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Jack's the IT man. He'll figure it out.
How's that?
Yeah. Oh, we can start. Yeah. Okay. So we don't see you, but can you say something?
But you can hear me.
I can hear you.
A couple comments to what couple comments to what you said. It was pointed out that 1.3 million overdoses, death by overdose in our country in the last 20 years. That's a lot of loss.
Yeah.
And this is the first president who's been very aggressive when he says war on drugs.
Yes.
So
right.
my question to people who concern themselves with this, you know, I've seen chats about he doesn't have the constitutional right because we didn't declare war. Well, this is different. You can't gather all the cartels together and say elect a president so we can work with you, you know.
Right.
It's not like we can sit down in a war room. So, and then I've also heard, of course, too, that per Geneva Convention, they're effectively pirates from where they're located.
Yeah, Constance,
So
I don't know if you were on.
To me, we have.
Yeah, I don't know if you were on the very beginning of the podcast, but
I heard it.
Yeah, there are legal things in place that gives him the authority to do that. There might be other things around piracy and that sort of thing.
You know, my problem with the Venezuela boats, right, is we looked this up. Venezuela, from Venezuela to Miami is like 1,500 miles, 2,000 miles. You think those little speedboats are making it that distance? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm all for about shutting down the illicit drug trades here. I 100%. It's killing too many Americans. I agree. I'm in the mental health field. I did addiction for a long time. 100% on board. I would be much more worried about Mexico than Venezuela personally. I mean, you know, China's shipping this stuff in. We know it's going across the border. Maybe now with him securing the border, it's a little bit better. But the Venezuela thing, I don't know, man.
Well, the cartels.
There are a lot of people that agree with you. There are a lot of people that agree with you that we should be harder hitting from Mexico. I don't know, maybe because of the floating obvious out in the water, this is an easier one to be more proactive with. I don't know, but it pertains in a different way to what you were talking about with the 719,000 voters, because people here illegally, whether it's here for drugs or whatever, a lot of them don't speak English well. You know, so many people didn't even know there was an election. My cleaning person was oblivious to the fact there was an election. I can't believe that all these illegal aliens who barely speak English were so aware there was an election that they all ran out to vote or got their mail-ins. Don't you find that hard to believe?
Yeah.
Well, I heard that they were text blasting Democrats and saying if you want to keep your food stamps, get out and vote Democrat.
Well, that was a clever strategy, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You know, we've been trying to track the bills that are going through Trenton and Jersey. It's almost impossible. I really think the whole process they have in Trenton is it's broken, because every time they vote on a bill, they vote on 100 bills. You know, it's difficult for me and they'll do 100 over on the Senate side. I don't know, maybe all the hard work is done by the vote, but
you know, those 25,000 page bills, man, on them omnibuses, you know, single digits. I want single item bills.
Yeah, I think the Democrats think in terms of numbers. You know, we passed 600 bills, you know, this year, then we must be really doing great. And if we do 700 next year, we're doing better. I don't know that it necessarily works that way. There was a bill today brought to my attention that has to do with voter registration. Now, right now, currently, of course, you can register on paper, right? Anybody that goes into the Department of Motor Vehicle, no matter why or I should say the website, if you have to, you know, get a new registration for your car or whatever, you're always prompted, do you want to vote or register to vote? Everybody is prompted for that. If you go through that process, there is no verification. They ask you, are you a citizen? You can say yes, but it doesn't go any further than that. There's no hard check of whether you're a U.S. citizen. Quite frankly, the people, if they don't say yes, the screen is stopped. They don't go any further. So you have people that can't even speak English. You know, maybe they're trying to get a license or something like that. They're going to say yes. Of course, I want a vote, and they're going to click, just check the boxes. Probably can't even have a hard time reading them. But this bill now says we're not even going to use the online. Anybody that comes in to do any work is automatically registered. There is no proof of anything. You're just automatically registered. And later on, they will send you something if you want to opt out. And so this includes not only people that are just, you know, coming in for the first time to get a license or something like that. They will be automatically get on the voter rolls. Felons, when they get out, are released. They will now get on the voter rolls under this A4206. And in the bill, there is no requirement for the Department of Motor Vehicles even to ask for documentation for citizenship. They can't even ask. So it says nothing in this section shall be construed to authorize the Motor Vehicle Commission to request documentation establishing an applicant's citizenship solely for the purpose of voter registration. This is terrible. Yeah.
It's blatantly illegal.
It passed the Senate. It passed the Assembly. This is going to be a new law, and you're right. And we should talk about that a little bit. What the legal requirements are in terms of citizenship. I mean, people should know that in our own state constitution in New Jersey, every citizen of the United States shall be entitled to vote. That is the wording in the Constitution, that you must be a citizen. It doesn't say every person. It doesn't say everybody that checks the box. It says you must be a citizen. This is a constitutional requirement. I don't think the Department of Motor Vehicle is meeting that requirement at all. I think they're failing short. They need to confirm it. There are federal laws also that come into place. There is the National Voter Registration Act. It requires that the local board make every reasonable effort to remove ineligible voters. This does not sound like it's meeting that requirement either if everybody gets dumped onto the voter registration. There's also the Help America Vote Act, which I think is probably the most powerful. It requires accurate, current, and regularly verified. This means as part of maintenance on a yearly basis, every 6 months, they must re-verify, their voter rolls. That's what regularly verified means. It doesn't mean once in a decade. It's got to be current. It's got to be inaccurate. They are failing. If they put people on the voter rolls, they're failing this requirement. I think there's a basis for a lawsuit.
Jack, is that a Jersey requirement?
The Jersey requirement is the state constitution. The other ones that I read here is the National Voter Registration Act. That's a federal law that requires that you got to remove ineligible voters. The other one is the Help America Vote Act. That's a federal law. And the federal government demands accurate, current, and regularly verified. And there are ways to do that. So this would be a basis for the U.S. government because, they have a vested interest because it's the same. All right, you're breaking up, so you're going to have to take your video off.
She did.
It's off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you hear?
We got you now.
Okay. I lost track of what we were talking about. Yeah, it seems like this would be something that the Trump administration I don't understand how they can pass a law that is blatantly against their own.
Well, isn't this what Alina Habba was supposed to be here doing? I mean, whatever happened to Alina Habba? Is she still here? Is that still an ongoing thing?
She's gone. She's gone.
Gone.
You know, I mean, I thought she was here for election integrity, you know, appointed AG or whatever she was. And then, you know, here, this is where we find ourselves. And you're right. I mean, look, we can go ahead and take any of the illegals that voted. We should be able to find out where their registered address is, and we should be able to go in there with ICE and deport them. You know, because they took place in an illegal act by voting in an election that they were not eligible to vote in. And, you know, I mean, I don't know. Bye-bye.
Unfortunately, there's also a bill forward that strengthens the case for, let's see. Okay, cooperate
That's
with
right.
ICE. I mean, they are lock, stock, and down any
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then we lost more assembly seats. I mean, they're just running roughshod now.
Yeah. So because of the condition of the voter database in New Jersey, registration database, with 700,000 phantom new voters, Damon, let's maybe bring up the video here of our crack new governor-elect as she talks about some of her plans as soon as she gets into office, and how she explains the $7 million that just through a miracle ended up in her checking account. So,
if you could pass one piece of legislation, what would it be?
Wow, I would love, that's a really good question because there's so many that are coming to mind right now. But right now, I would love at this point to pass legislation to
does that remind you of Kamala Harris or not?
Yeah, talking tongues.
Yeah.
Now, her first day is coming up, so I hope she's figured out what she's going to do on her first day, because she still didn't have it there. And then I think we have one where she's talking her way out of her $7 million or $13 million windfall. Maybe we can cue that one up. It's the cringe moment.
But there is no individual stock trading. It's not as if I go sit on the House Armed Services Committee and suddenly I'm trading Boeing or something. Mm-hmm. There's none of that. I'm totally out of individual stocks. And like I said, I think every member of Congress should be.
Well, did you make $7 million in stock trades at all? Or?
I haven't. I don't believe I did, but I'd have to go see what that was alluding to again. Mm-hmm. What kind of came from?
It was a report in the.
No, I know it was from Newsmax, which again,
and then another one in the Washington Free Beacon, which is a conservative leaning platform, but they said you had increased from between 733,209 to over 4 million in 2019. And then between 4 million to 13 million in 2024. So that's where they got the 7 million increase.
Increase
the average
there.
of the
average. They averaged out that. Yeah. Look,
So you got millions in the banker, don't you, Mickey? What are we doing?
Hey, look, we've all been there when we got caught with our hand in the cookie jar, right? That's what she sounded like, you know.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't me.
You know, the other thing that's interesting is living New Jersey. The census is flat and would actually be declining, except for the million illegal that count citizens. The census counts people who live here, households. Right. So the census is flat. If it wasn't for the and push this woman through a statement that she doesn't even know where her money's.
Yeah, so
I don't know how much money I got, but I'm gonna be the best governor ever.
Yeah. Constance, the next time I go over to your house, I have this little speed test on my phone. We're going to find out what the throughput is on your Wi-Fi, because something's not right. Because you're
test before I got on, and it said it meant no the problem, but we should.
Yeah. So, with regard to this New Jersey voter registration database, to me, this must be fixed. To me, this is the number one issue in the state. Now, there's a lot of issues in the state, but no matter how elegant the solutions are to our problem, if we don't fix the voter registration database, every year there's going to be another 700,000 people showing up voting. We're never going to win any offices anytime. And during federal elections, Trump or J.D. Vance will never win, and it's going to end up to be AOC or someone like that. Now, one of those federal laws talked about regular verification. I want to talk a little bit about the SAVE database. This is the Systematic Alien Verification for Entitlements database. I'm not saying this is the solution, but this is part of the solution. This is maintained by the Homeland Security. It is a federal database. It has on it all the information they need about checking whether you're a citizen or not. I'll go through it in a second here. But access to that database is free to every state, including New Jersey. We could unload the entire voter registration database and give it to a third party to run up against the SAVE database to find out how many illegals are on there. All the technical hurdles have been taken care of in the past 2 years by the government. All the technical work, there's nothing that New Jersey would have to do. So what does the SAVE database interface with? It interfaces with ICE, Customs and Border Protection, passport systems, visa and immigration records, employment authorization files, real ID checking, E-Verify checking, overstay tracking, parole deferred action systems, biometric identity. This database, in conjunction with Social Security, is the gold standard of who's a citizen. It's not the Camden County Board of Elections. It's not even New Jersey. It's the federal government that knows who's a citizen or not. It's free, it's available, and it can be done online. If they kept that motor vehicle online system in place, when they say, yes, I'm a citizen, you could do a real-time check with SAVE, and it will automatically have exposure to all these different systems and Social Security. You can check right on the spot. 99% of the people will be citizens. The 1% are the cases that the local county should look into, talk to the people, get further information. Arizona has done it, Georgia, Kansas, Florida, Louisiana, South Carolina, Wyoming, Indiana, Alabama, Idaho, Texas, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. They have adopted it even with counties or the whole state. States that do not use it: New Jersey, New York, California, Illinois, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Oregon, Washington State. This database is the hill the Democrats will die on. They will do anything to make sure that there is never any light that's shined on that database. They will die on that hill, because if we find out what's in that voter registration database, it's all over for them. But as long as they have control of it, we're done. We'll never win another election, because magically every year we're going to get a new 250,000 people showing up.
Funny how that works.
So here's my, for the candidates, I want to know where the fighters are. Where is the New Jersey GOP?
Hey, Jack.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we pick that up? Let's take a quick break real quick, and then we'll pick that up on the other side.
Gotcha.
The APN's The Pulse podcast is hosted by Alexandra Levine, host of the Alexandra Levine Live podcast. Damon Galdo, host of the Jersey Shore podcast. And Seth Eisenberg, host of the Conservative Corner podcast. Also, there will be 2 additional guests on every episode. So please like, subscribe, and then share this episode on your social media accounts that The Pulse is live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And we are back.
All right. So, Jack, tell me, what do the candidates need to do, buddy? Where are we sitting?
All right. So, first of all, the federal law requires accurate, current, and regularly verified. We have the technical capabilities with the SAVE database and Social Security to do regular verification for the state. I can tell you right now, if you dumped the entire registration database and ran it up against the SAVE database, we would know in 45 minutes how many illegals are in the entire state. What I am telling the candidates that are running for the New Jersey GOP chair, and the only ones that I know of right now is Steve Lonigan, Christine Hanlon, Rosemary Becky, and Michael Curry. This database must be handed over to a third party to run against the SAVE database. If these candidates do not pledge to do this, to bring a lawsuit to get the illegal aliens off of our voter registration database, they must each take that pledge to bring that lawsuit. If we don't clean this up, and if we don't get that data cleaned up, you might as well not even be the chair of the GOP, because there will be no GOP ever again. We're going to go into oblivion into California. So I
would agree with that too, buddy. I mean, look, and we haven't seen a whole lot of the GOP, the statewide, right? GOP. I mean, where's all the lawsuits? Where you said 30,000 potential mail-in, ballot frauds, right? At least questionable ballots, and they didn't want to do anything with it.
Yeah. Now I know there's a
30,000 that we know about.
I know there's a current lawsuit, and they want to know about what your practices are. No, look. Yeah, I want to do that. I want that database dumped, because the federal, first of all, the state has a constitutional requirement, and there's a federal requirement to make it accurate, current, and regular. We can do that. We can do that. You dump it out to a third party. He runs it up against SAVE and Social Security. Then it will be accurate. Then it will be current. And we do that once a year. Every year we do that at the end of the year or sometime during the year. Every year. It is not a technical hurdle anymore. And quite frankly, there's no reason why we shouldn't hook up that motor vehicle, which is the motor voter database, and make it real time. So I'm calling on Steve Lonigan, Christine Hanlon, Rosemary Becky, Michael Curry. I want a commitment from them to sue the state of New Jersey and get that database dumped into the hands of a third party and get it cleaned up, and then back into the hands of the Secretary of State. This must be done for the survival of the GOP.
Jack, we need to make that clear to our and I think, although I think he's stepping down, they know that is important that is important to us, because they're the ones you're going to.
Yeah, I don't care how it's done. If they don't do it, they're not getting my vote. They must commit.
I think you're making the best point, the most essential point. I think to make to our 2 representatives for Camden County.
The state committee is what she had mentioned, Jack. I don't know if you caught that or not. Claire Gustafson and Jeff Casco.
Fine.
That's fair.
Well, my message is to those people directly, to Steve, Christine, Rosemary, and Michael. I mean, I can't go through the bureaucracy of the, of course we'll do that.
Yeah.
But this has got to go right to the top. We're laying down on this, and the Democrats are rolling over us. And that 700,000 new voters is a big red flag. And then this new law, A 4206, which is going to circumvent everything, and just put everybody on the voter rolls. I'm sorry that this is do or die now here for the Republican Party, or we might as well change our name to California East.
We're already California East, but yeah, it just keeps getting further and further.
So,
do you know, related to this, a bill up for health care for people here that are illegally?
Right. Let me, we really want, I know we wanted to go over the 10 worst bills, but that's probably another time. Let me just repeat that because you were breaking up, Constance. That's Bill A1701, gives full taxpayer-funded health coverage to illegal immigrants. So every taxpayer now will be on the hook. Never mind, you're paying $1,000 a month for your own family. Now you must support another family for people that should not even be here in the first place. Doesn't mean they're not nice people. They shouldn't be here in the first place. Only a Democrat would do this, is demanding by law a 1701 bill, full health coverage for illegal immigrants. There could be close to 1 million in the state. So
everybody gets free stuff, but hardworking Americans. It's so disheartening to continue hearing the way that these people keep pushing. It truly is, man. I mean, we're over here. Please take the knee off our back. Let us get a little breath real quick, and nope, hold on. We got more pressure. I mean, this is just, oh my God, it's ridiculous.
yeah, we have, 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in board elections across the state. Now, come on.
And 14-year-olds now, right? 14-year-olds can consent to psychiatric treatment or something without their parent consent. I mean,
these Democrats are going to destroy families and they're going to destroy the state. This is, again, this all harkens back to the voter registration data, because I'm not so sure Mikey even won this election.
I second that.
I really doubt that.
I have questions about that myself. I mean, look, I'll tell you though, Jack, when you look over, let's switch gears from state, even nation. Look, you look over at these 8 countries, right, where their citizens are up now taking out, marching against all this stuff, right? You look in England, France, Germany,
right.
Japan, right? There was like 8 of them. Spain, did you see the Haka warriors down in New Zealand walking down the streets doing their Haka? I love that. All right. And maybe we need to start doing something like that right here because, I'm not feeling very heard lately, Jack. Yeah. And I think that the rest of the American citizens aren't either. And maybe we need to start taking to the streets and start protesting like these other countries are before we wind up in the position that they're in.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can still, we're definitely on the ropes, right? It's hard to believe that people voted against their own interest. The party that made this state poor, people voted back in. This doesn't make sense to me.
Well, when you look at how many people left since 2020, Republicans, because it was Republicans that were leaving. Right. Yeah. Since 2020, the lockdowns and everything, they left. They went down to Florida. They went down to South Carolina, Texas, wherever it was that they were going. How is it that we keep having more Republicans voting here? Because more people are waking up and coming to our side. but
Yeah.
they just keep flooding them with the illegals or whatever else, whoever they want to vote.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the days of, paper shuffling and looking things up to see if somebody's a citizen, there's no better expert than the federal government to determine, especially now where the country's been flooded with 20 million strangers, basically. I'm sure they're very nice.
Yeah.
Not all of them are, but this is, this was the plan of the Democrats all along. I think Mikey's victory with the 700,000 new voters, the Democrats are seeing the fruits of their labor. This is why they brought illegal aliens into New Jersey, not because the Democrats even like these people, but to get them to vote. And I think this past election, the Democrats can pat themselves on the back and say, hey, I think it worked here in Jersey. Because these 700,000, I don't know where they came from. It should have been 200,000 more voters, or maybe even less than the people in the Murphy. Not 700,000 more new voters. So what else? Let's see. We've got, what other laws here? There's one about, in addition to healthcare, we're going to be taking inmates, some of our most violent men in high security prisons who happen to identify as a woman. And this law now will allow them to move them to a women's prison.
I thought that was already going on.
Well, it's now going to be, if it all passes, it's A 1975, puts prison inmates wherever they want based on their gender identity, not their actual biological sex. And guards must use whatever made-up pronouns they demand.
Oh, Jesus. You gotta love that they keep forcing people to live in others' delusions. I mean, it's just
Yeah. Okay, so it bans police from working with federal immigration authorities. This is going to be a total disaster in this state.
yeah.
A 2239 forces racial and gender quotas onto corporate boards. Now, here's the government poking their nose into private industry. This means corporations have to be run by identity politics instead of by qualification. So that's no company. You want to see companies leaving Jersey, this is going to do it.
Yep.
Not only the 11.5% tax, but this is going to get them running.
Well, any company that sticks around and follows through with that, I mean, they're just going to collapse, in a while anyway. Because you're just putting people to put them there. Yep, we got to fill this seat. Okay, not qualified, right? That's the big problem with the DEI stuff is, are you qualified or are you not qualified? Don't tell me I have to find someone that's qualified if there's nobody qualified.
Right. You've got to go on merit. Merit and equity are direct opposites.
Not saying that they can't be qualified. That's not what I'm saying. I just, the majority not qualified, right? I mean, I wouldn't be qualified to run, one of them companies.
We got one here that's going to force insurance companies to cover abortions and gender affirming treatments. You're going to foot the bill for other people's lifestyles, for all the guys that want a boob job. Now the insurance companies are going to be paying. Well, the insurance doesn't pay it. Who pays it? We're going to pay it in higher premiums.
Yeah.
So.
Well, how's that going to work, though? Because I'll tell you, it's funny. Isn't he trying to work right now on putting a bill together, Trump, to give that money back, right? And allow the taxpayer to choose their own coverage? Isn't that what they're talking about? Trying to do
drugs. Yeah, for drugs. Prescription drugs.
It's just for prescriptions? I thought that was for health insurance.
Oh, no. You're right. It is for healthcare. That's
yeah.
Right.
So if they do something like that, maybe it null and voids whatever that nonsense is they're trying to push through. I don't know how that'll work.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, I know there are laws that oversee the insurance companies and can make them do certain things. But it doesn't matter. I mean, if the drug companies can make money from this, they'll stay in Jersey. If they're not going to make money, they're going to leave. There'll be, you know, fewer and fewer insurance companies. So,
well, good. Let's get some medicine men standing on the corner then. You know, I mean, that's where I'm at. Go visit your local medicine man. He'll give you some herbs, and let's get back to being more naturalistic.
So are we up to the winner and loser, the Patriot and loser? Are we at that point? We'll have to ask Mr. Producer.
I don't know. He'll let us know, you know.
I think we did.
I'll tell you though, Jack, it's good to see you, man. And Constance, you as well, even though you're a little choppy and got kicked off to the curb. I'm sorry about that, honey. But
I don't understand it.
Yeah, choppy again. We love you, Constance.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been on the other side of that too. I know how bad it is.
Yeah, you're on your Apple, right? Your Apple laptop.
See, you gotta get hardwired in. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But such is life.
Yep.
You know, so Jack, what's going on with you, man? What's next, brother? What are we looking at?
Well, I have been involved with Moms for Liberty, and as well as Constance, and a lot of the information we got here is because of Moms for Liberty. There are bills we didn't even get to talk about that definitely affect schools. I can tell parents that every other bill that the Democrats come across or propose, there's always a clause in there that there is no need for parental knowledge or consent. So the parents in New Jersey, I think it's safe to say that you're slowly going to be cut out of the picture, that there will be things going on in your school that there'll be no requirement for your son or daughter or even the school. Now, Peter, you mentioned about lowering the age for psychological counseling from 16 to 14. So
without parental consent.
Yeah, without parental consent. So a 14-year-old, now that would be the entire population of your local high school. So here, locally to me would be like Cherry Hill East, the entire student population would be exempt. No need to tell mom or dad if you're going to go in for drug counseling, reproductive counseling. No need to talk to mom or dad. Maybe abortion counseling. No need to talk to mom or dad. Maybe you want to change your gender. No need to talk to mom or dad.
At 14, you know, but let's just pause on this real quick, Jack. So can they buy cigarettes?
I don't think so.
Can they buy alcohol?
No.
Can they go to war?
Nope.
How about a tattoo? Tattoo, right? They can get a tattoo.
No. They can get an abortion.
But they get an abortion, they can change their sex. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Because the Democrats out here are just winning.
Yep. Again,
it's unheard of, man. I don't know what kind of twilight zone we find ourselves living in, brother. We just got to keep fighting and put an end to it because this is ridiculous.
It is. I hate to keep harping on the voter rolls, but that's where the change is going to happen.
It has to. It has to. Or voting means nothing.
Yeah.
And if voting means nothing, then the conversation stops, and you know where that leads to, Jack. And I don't want that. I don't think anybody wants that.
No, not at all.
Maybe we just need to start marching down the street doing the haka.
Yeah.
Ha, haka, ha. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about.
Right. This self-flagellation.
Yes. Well, no, not even. Well, I guess. I don't know. You seen them Polynesian guys, man? The Hawaiians do it. The Samoans do it. These are the New Zealanders, but they'll like smack themselves and show their male dominance. You know what I mean? You should check out the haka. That's good stuff, brother.
Yeah.
All right, Jack. Well, you want to run the next break, and then we'll go to the loser and the Patriot.
Sounds good to me. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, Elena, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
We are back. Yeah, so we got our Patriot and our loser. I think we have a couple good candidates here this evening.
The Jersey Shore Podcast presents this week's Patriot Award. Vice President J.D. Vance.
Everybody good with that? J.D. Vance.
Listen, I love that. All right. I was watching AmFest the other day. Well, I was watching all the videos, right? All the speeches. And, listen, there's such a rift right now forming between the right wing, and it's very discouraging to see. And I thought JD came out and did that masterfully, tried to pull it all back together, said, we're tired of the fighting. We're tired of the infighting. We need to pull it back together. And I thought he had the best speech out of all of them, and he's gearing up for that presidential 2028 run.
Yeah, I don't like to use the word riff. I mean, there's some debate going on, and energetic debate. But all in all, I think the MAGA movement is still America first. But you're right. JD comes out, and he has a manner about himself that brings people together.
I don't know how I feel about him and Peter Thiel, man. I'll tell you that one's still going to take a little bit to get over. But the message that he brought to the table, yesterday, the night before, that was it was definitely a positive message that I think a lot of us needed to hear.
Yeah. So let's go to our loser.
Losers! 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 Losers!
Loser Tim Waltz.
Shut up!
He's a loser with a capital L. He is.
I don't think there's anything he could do to ever be a winner again, man. I mean, that guy, he just needs to go away.
I'd like to make him the loser for the rest of the month, every day for the rest of the month. And right there, the Somali crooks that he's been working with. And I was talking with Mr. Producer before the show, and I think some of that money, that billions of dollars that are going over to Somalia, it's making its way back to the Democratic Party. There's no doubt about it. He must have gotten millions for the Democratic Party, and I think that's why they gave him the VP slot. It was just billions of dollars. And
Well, that and he's just a bland white guy who doesn't like any seasoning on his tacos. I eat white guy tacos.
Yeah.
Just meat and cheese.
Yeah.
No, man,
So-
look, it's a lot of that crookery going on, especially that's what we've been talking about the whole show, right? It's just the illegals coming in, taking the money, sending it back home, doing whatever, all these NGOs, you know, it's I'm just so tired of the corruption, Jack. And this guy finds himself knee deep in it.
Yeah. So I think we're getting close to a wrap here for the show. For the show, we there's somebody banging in the background. I don't know who that is, but
That must be Constance, because I thought it was Connie, Judy over there. If it's not Judy, then that's Connie doing it.
oh, okay. So Damon will be back next Monday. Is that when the this is on weekly? Peter, is the next Monday he'll be back on?
I'm not sure with the holiday schedule. It would be, you know, we would have had the radio show on Thursday, but Thursday is, you know, I believe what, Christmas Day.
Yeah. So it's
Mondays and Fridays is the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be on this Friday or next Monday or what the.
Okay. I mean, it's normally Monday and Fridays. So this Friday is the day after Christmas. So he may or may not be on.
And he's texting me right now. He wants me to make sure everybody knows Damon Galdo for Congress 2026.
Okay, so it's public. Okay,
I'm pretty sure he's already announced, but he just wants to keep it fresh into people's minds.
Okay, so that's Damon Galdo for Congressional District Number 1 in South Jersey, and that's largely Camden County and Gloucester County.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a couple of towns in Burlington County, but most of it is Camden County and Gloucester County. So we want Damon in there. We want to send Damon to Washington, and because we need good people, and we need smart people, and Damon is good people and a smart guy.
And they need a dose of the Godfather out there in Washington, man. We need to bring him out there with his cannolis.
So.
He also says he will be on Friday. My bad. I'm getting live updates over here, Jack. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. Good. So Damon will be on Friday.
Damon will be on Friday.
We'll wrap things up here, and we'll say thank you to Constance, and we're gonna send Comcast over to your house and just find out what is going on with her Wi-Fi. And Peter, thank you from taking some time from your busy schedule.
I'm all over the place nowadays, Jack. I don't even know which way is up anymore, man.
Well, we have more time now, so
that's it.
And Damon, our producer, thanks so much for helping me get through this show without making a complete fool of myself. There's still plenty of time to do that, but that's for sure.
Maybe next time, Jack.
Yeah. So we'll say goodnight to everyone. Thank you very much.
Have a Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas. And Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends, and Merry Christmas. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of Jersey Shore Podcast. So please click subscribe on your favorite social media to get notified of each upcoming episode. The Hammer looks forward to your comments on upcoming episodes. Damon Galdo and family wishes you a happy holidays and Merry Christmas.